So now we're going to be talking about how to prevent failure. I put here 4 steps to identify the right opportunities. So the first one is 4 steps to prevent failure. So the first one is to identify the right opportunity. So you want to make sure you get into a business when it's time to get into a business. You don't want to be selling something either that the market, you don't want to be selling something that the market is not there. So how do you know the market is not there for a product? It's very simple. You want to get into what's called a fluid market. So a fluid market is a market where you have many small players. That's a fluid market. So to give you an idea, if you want to compete against a soda company, probably you will be competing against Coca-Cola. And as you know, Coca-Cola is very well established. And Pepsi is also very well established. So you have 2 big players that basically control the cola market, right? If we're talking about social media, so maybe you want to build a new social media, but what happens when we say social media? We automatically think of Facebook. So Facebook is the clear market leader on social media. So competing against Facebook is kind of scary when it comes on the same exact type of business, right? And so what you have to do, you have to identify a fluid market. So a fluid market will be something like a market that's just starting. I read a couple of days ago that Lyft, or actually a bank, a telecommunications company, I'm sorry, bought a company in India that mimics the service that Uber offers. For those of you who do not know Uber, Uber is a company that lets you get basically a taxi from anybody else who wants to give you a ride. So you say, hey, I want to go to Walmart, who can give me a ride? And somebody who has the app will say, oh, I'll take you there, and they'll charge you like a cab. So it's pretty cool, and it's disrupting the taxi industry all over the world, not only in the States, but all over the world. So they are very well known, but they are not the market leader. There are other companies who are still trying to do something similar. And so, now is a good time to start a competitor because there's not a real market winner. So you can still be the first one. You can be the best one, right? So that's how you identify the right opportunity. Then you identify which resources are needed to decrease failure probability. So remember the first class, I talked about entrepreneurs are not risk takers, but risk reducers. So the entrepreneur wants to reduce the ways that he can fail. So he will look at something like the tool we're going to be using in the next weeks called the Lean Canvas to see which areas are weak on his plan and try to hire people to complement his skills and actually make failure less of an option. So that's what identifying the right resources are. It could be people, it could be money, it could be some other resource that you're not aware of. So you have to identify these things. Then you have to test assumptions. So this is a very important message, if you will, testing assumptions. So when we start a business, we don't realize it, but we all have assumptions. You are assuming the market is there for whatever reason, right? So if you want to start a new cola business, you think people are tired of Coca-Cola, or people are tired of Pepsi, and you think people want it, right? So you want to test the assumption. How do you test the assumption, right? So maybe you don't have to go and buy a factory and bottle and create all the distribution for the new cola business. You can just do a sample tasting and see what people say, or you can do a survey or talk to a lot of people and talk to them about soda and see if they are really tired of Pepsi and Coca-Cola, right? So if they are, you're on the right path. But if they're not, then now you learn that the market's not really tired of soda, but maybe they're tired of something else. Maybe they're looking for a new option. But that's the whole point of testing the assumptions. You have to understand that everything you think it's a truth about the market, it's really an assumption. So you want to go and systematically test each one of them. And then the last one is you want to learn from these assumptions. So Not only you want to test, but you want to listen to the market and you want to understand what's happening and then being able to pivot or change what you're doing into a better way of doing business for yourself, right? So a lot of failure is preventable, as we saw before. You just have to listen to the market and follow your intuition into the right place.